Yo, so this is a pretty pivotal moment within my Forex trading journey, and I just noticed okay, so look, I am going over my losses for the first time in my trading journey, and it's crazy because, bro, I'm starting to realize how competitive I can be, like I am. Like, it's a whole realization, a whole like me not wanting to look at or realize a mistake, a very bro, I lost. Like me not wanting to accept or really kind of embrace that truth. That I mean, of course, I've looked at my losses and be like, dang, like that sucks, and I just like throw it away, like I guess like whatever, and you feel me, and then just done next trade. But when you really understand why, how exactly um, you are actually losing, you know, when you understand that there is a chance that you could just be guessing a low, you could just be guessing a bottom, you know, and it's important to just kind of understanding, kind of trade where the market is at the time and not necessarily be so guaranteed about the price, or really kind of competitive with the market, because ego does play a very key role within trading, as well as psychology. I mean, anything that's competitive. And I'm just having this realization, like, dang, I can be very, very competitive, and this is crazy because like this is like Forex. This is a psychological game. This is um, in a way, you're at a war against yourself type. So it's just it's just a crazy realization, a crazy epiphany, a crazy like, bro, like, whoa, I like, you can be your very worst enemy, your very worst pretty much your very worst, like your issue, and when you realize that, you can really change your perception, and kind of understand that, dang, there's a chance that you could be thinking of the majority, like these two other trades. I very much knew the bias. The bias was very much, given to me, and we had a whole impulse towards, the highs. We are creating higher lows for, eventual targets. It's just really kind of important to realize and kind of understand that there is a chance you can very much be wrong. There is a chance that you can very much not be correct about the initial bias. That is why it is important that you don't necessarily kind of have a guarantee about where price is going until it gets there, you know? And it is important to understand that liquidity, as well as a point of interest, as well as maybe even a whole QM, it's very much vital to a protected low or a protected high being, valid initially, you know, as well as, conditions on the left side of the screen, It is just very much, it's important to understand that whenever you are trading, understand that you are trading against yourself. There's no competing against yourself, especially within, investing, only because who are you going to, like, if you're competing with yourself and you want yourself to lose or you want yourself to win, which again can be, it's literally like two particular truths contradicting each other. Which means if initially the market wants to take your money, and obviously you want to keep your money, you want to have, or you have a certain attachment towards, your money because it's your money. However, it is important to understand that if it is easier for the universe to take your money, which initially is kind of happening regardless from when you actually, deposit within your MT4 account, understand that that's what's going to happen. The universe is going to go against your initial want because it's just easier. This is why we study losses. This is why we understand where we actually kind of went wrong as far as, our ranges. Because initially I did see, I, I saw a range. It was very much a range. We did have maybe a week low, quote unquote, right? And there is a chance price definitely could have, continued lower highs down towards, whatever quote unquote liquidity does look like is right here. However, there is a second half of the story that you might not see at the time. Of course, when you're already wrong, I mean, it is easy to understand that, okay, price is definitely bullish now. We can start longing from any kind of lower high that is very much protected. However, there's going to be more times that you don't necessarily understand or um, realize your bias to your fullest potential, right? So this is why we kind of cover our losses because there's going to be times where we get up and we are very much distorted within our initial focus majority of the day, from family time to taking care of ourselves to cleaning to this, that, and a third, chores around the house, as well as having to do things, maybe some of us travel or desire to travel. Maybe some of us desire more freedom within our lives, within our time. Many people really kind of just desire choices or really kind of just opportunities. Well, this, gives you that much more opportunity because honestly, when I realized, like, I mean, like I said, I looked at losses. Losses were fine. Losses, this is my trading journey and this is, obviously me having to go and do the work and heal and really kind of understand where I'm coming from as far as like me, like from a childhood. Like I'm talking like me getting upset at like video games like 2K. It can sound like weird or corny or downright childish to a certain extent, but this is like, me being a guy, me being me being my, inner child and really kind of not understanding how competitive I can actually be. Like it's crazy how when you come to these realizations and these realizations kind of lead to like extra opportunity, more abundance, more wisdom, inner wisdom, because at this point you're teaching yourself how to trade. At this point you're teaching yourself how to manage your losses, how to manage your overall, your ego, your pride, essentially. And this is when Roguefx Trading actually does become a community, become initially a brand, right? Initially a community, a private community at that, of dedicated traders, of very much determined traders, of people that just want to improve, get better, and eventually, live a life of freedom, live a life of choices, live a life of opportunity, you know. And I just wanted to share this because like this is it's a breakthrough, not only within my trading like this. I mean, obviously you can see the difference. Like you can see, um, I mean, if you can see or you can understand why I'm so excited and really kind of just amazed at what I kind of just I had a 10 pip stop loss, uh, amazed at what I kind of just discovered. Like this is like a milestone within my. It's a milestone within my not only trading but spiritual journey, as well as me as a person healing and really kind of just like it's just I don't know. It could just be like so overwhelming, really kind of just managing so much at once when you kind of just don't necessarily stop and realize and kind of really kind of just understand yourself in a bit of a more healed or retrospective, if you may. I'm not too sure. However, it is important to just like realize and kind of just understand like it's important to view your losses and kind of just understand why. Not understand like obviously I can just come back and understand that I lost and understand that man I just didn't pick the right key level, which I mean that's not necessarily true a lot of the times, because a lot of the times you are doing it correct. You just may be having the wrong range. When you have the wrong range, where you're doing something that contradicts an overall trend, right? As well as it's we're really holding higher lows at this point, right? I mean that's besides the fact we are in very much hindsight, but it's just important to understand that this is why we very much go over our losses, and this is why we take accountability for ourselves, right? And this is not necessarily just me just saying I've never considered the idea of me being able to lose, right? Because of course I know consciously I know I can very much lose, but subconscious or unconsciously you could still have inner child wounds that still need to be healed, that still need to be in any particular way. You could still be holding or repressing any kind of tension within your energy that's kind of preventing you from realizing or kind of understanding truth that's actually in front of you, right? I mean, look, again, this doesn't mean that I have never considered the idea of me losing. It's just really kind of understanding and realizing that, guys, understand that at times our deep rooted insecurities can very much play a key role within our trading and very much affect our overall mindset as far as making key decisions within little to no time, of course, right? I am very much sharing this video. I mean, people say what they want. This is my trading journey, right? So this is my personal trading journey, correct? So with that being said, this is a pivotal moment, a pivotal breakthrough moment, because again, if you understand what this means, then you understand you understand that I mean to a certain extent I was at the right place at the wrong I mean in whichever case, right place, the right scenario, the perfect amount of liquidity, the decent amount of point of interest, because in a way very much so, in someone else's world, in a different very different truth, this is acting as a strong high, this is acting as a weak low. They just, in whichever case, their strategy didn't necessarily work out at that extent, or within those certain parameters that are very much providing a essentially, if you are within a win rate of say 60%, right? It's not bad, but it's not necessarily too great. This is kind of understanding that this trade can definitely vary upon the spectrum of a win or a loss, right? This is going to be a percentage that's going to be within the win basket or the loss basket. However, when you shift your perspective and understand that there's definitely a chance you can be wrong, and you should very much should keep a routine, for not only your trading, but your lifestyle through trading. And this is going to look different for a lot of people, right? Because of course we are all coming from essentially nothing, right? We're essentially self-made, a self-made individual, self-made in a sense. You're essentially becoming a millionaire. You're essentially becoming your own boss. You're essentially becoming your own person, your own being, right? To a certain extent, you don't need anyone. You're independent, right? Independent, self-made. In whichever case, when you get to that point to where you want to be within your journey, no one can necessarily tell you much, right? As long as you're not necessarily hurting anyone or necessarily, providing any ill will or ill intent. Understand though, it's going to definitely take work. It's going to take time. It's going to take those years to kind of develop this within your actual psychology, develop this within your actual energy, so you can have the energy to be up at these times. So you can have the energy to eventually carry this into maybe a full-time thing, because it is very much possible, right? So this is very much important. Like this is this is an important video, right? At a certain extent, you need to understand, why are you experiencing these losses? How are your ranges looking? Your particular trading range within your actual price that you obviously took that L on. Where is your actual liquidity? Not the one you were looking for, but the one that you didn't necessarily notice at the time. Understand that this could very much be your opportunity for a sniper entry. You could be in the right place. You can very much be where you want to be, is what I'm saying. All you need to do is shift your perspective. Again, going back to our little kind of illustration of, or I guess you could say idea of the universe. And if the universe is going to take before it's going to give, it's very much going to take, right? Just because it's easier to go with the flow, right? The flow of quote unquote society, the flow of quote unquote the grain, right? And then on top of that, why is your stop loss getting hit in whichever case? Because a lot of the times, of course, it's not going to. I mean, a lot of the times it's going to continue, and you're just going to have been stopped out, and the price is going to go your way. I mean, it's the price is definitely going to go your way, and it sucks because at that point you miss that trade, right? And you have to have watch everyone make money, but you, and it can suck because I kind of experienced that today, like literally like 2 hours ago, late New York on GU, I believe. I don't know. I'm gonna post it on my TikTok, and you will. I mean, if you see an X where a particular reel is, I believe it's gonna be with an X song on it, XXX Tentacion song. I'm not too sure, but yeah, TikTok is gonna be down in the description if you do want to check that out. But again, understand why your stop loss is very much getting hit. Maybe you sold right here and price ticked your break even, right? You very much were well over 20, 15 pips. However, in this particular pattern, understand that price failed to break any kind of low. Swung higher, took out liquidity, or break evens, or maybe you had more of a conservative entry. Your stop loss initially gets ticked. Essentially, you're capped out of the market. Initially, understand that this is a game of probabilities in whichever case, it's kind of just understanding that this, regardless of any kind of opinion, this is a game of probabilities, correct? And I mean, your ego does play a it really kind of just understands your overall experience as well as maturity within your trading journey. Understand everything is really just skepticism. Everything is not essentially real to a certain extent because this high was essentially a high. It's a high, but I mean at this point, in particular time, fast forwarding, this is now a low. You see, it doesn't necessarily mean you were wrong. You were just against the trend in that particular case. So essentially, I would make sure my trade is providing a protected stop loss, right? Is there still liquidity up here possible buy stops that can be ticked before the overall move down, which in this case there very much was. This is also pertaining to really kind of locating your particular QM within your point of interest, right? So in whichever case yes, of course, it could act as liquidity, a quote unquote three candle formation, can very much act as magnetized liquidity when, obviously within the right circumstances. But in this case, it was acting as a protected low or higher low. So understanding that you need to or really kind of checking off the list of the things that you really kind of need to notice within your, obviously reviewing your trading losses, really kind of just noticing where liquidity is necessarily residing, right? So which kind of point of interest holds the most volume within any kind of or particular moment in time, right? Whether this be at the hour and this be, 7, this be 8, 9, 10, 11, or this be the 4 hour and we're at 12, we're at 4, we're at 8, we're at 12, or this be on the 5 minute and we're at 5, 10, 15, 20. Understand that there's going to be particular point of interest that carry the most liquid or the most money, the most sell stops. Guys, understand that this rejection block in this particular time holds a lot of liquidity, right? In whichever case, sell stops within this weak low towards the left. In this particular time, understanding that this grayish rejection block is very much taking out liquidity or providing a QM, a liquidity grab in whichever case, as well as breaking structure towards the highs, or that is very much something that we are very much looking to anticipate. Understand that there is way more liquidity within there at that particular time than this particular rejection block towards the left. And this is, again, just understanding actual price action and obviously doing the time and going through your journey. And again, understanding and really kind of knowing yourself. Because again, when you know yourself, This is when you begin to evolve. There's no more lessons. There's no more delays. There's no more setbacks. There's no more resistance to a certain extent. There's only flow. And when you go with the flow, as well as the flow of the market, it becomes less resistance or least resistance. It becomes something that kind of just happens, right? These are things that might take precedence over any particular predetermined high or low you may see as valid at that time or not, right? Whether it's correct or, whether it's valid or not valid. Understand that there is still opportunity within that kind of situation. When you learn how to trade ranges, you learn how to understand that price is but a cluster of ranges, guys. Understand? Like I don't know how to I don't know how to say that. Like I don't know how to say it any kind of better than that. Because if I say it better than that, I mean, this is very much understanding where, I mean, at that point you have your range. At that point you have slanted highs for liquidity. We're targeting equal highs. Price fails, which is fine. It only means that we are just leaving a weak high. Price retests, reaches full liquidity, being what? Slanted lows. Understand that this journey, essentially, guys, this journey is essentially that. It's just that. It's the journey. And it's not necessarily your journey towards financial freedom or journey towards making your family proud or being successful or that kind of label that essentially inflates ego. Understand, guys, that this is it's a bit deeper than those I don't even want to say surface based because it's kind of weird because I did mention family but um essentially this is a journey back to yourself, back to your inner child, that's away or not necessarily away, but um it's essentially you minus all the trauma, all the damage, all the insecurities, all the ego inflated perceptions that are obviously affecting your reality and causing you to misread or distort your initial charts, and again, this is not necessarily saying that I don't lose. I mean, everybody loses. This is really kind of me just understanding that I again, I don't want to say anything. I'm just, this is a pivotal moment within my trading journey. And again, this is just, I mean, not necessarily assuming, but really kind of just understanding and recognizing, guys, I knew these two that went well over, a decent amount of pips, of course. Um, but again, these are going to be key moments, key roles, these obstacles, these um, whichever case may be, however you feel about defeat or disappointment within your life, right? Because again, you are like, this is for money. You're trading money, is what I'm saying. So obviously you have or you carry a certain attachment towards money because it's money, guys. Come on. However, when you understand that trading is a business, it's something to be worked on, something to be honed, something to be maybe a side hustle in whichever case. And guys, it's the whole kind of package is required for this kind of skill set, right? There's no like essentially half assing it. Whether I just took a loss, guys. Coming back a couple hours later, a couple minutes later, a couple seconds later. Again, it varies upon your time frame. However, of course, I'm gonna pick longs over shorts because I'm going with the trend regardless. I am going to make a playlist for my losses, and we're gonna go over them. We're gonna take another journey, um, a journey, a journey through guys, a journey, cause again, this is me coming from my childhood, and it's a journey, guys. Of course, they're not going to be well over 30 minutes to an hour long. However, I'm saying this because, like, guys, if you know what this means, you know what this means. That's all I'm going to say. I have no idea what I'm going to name this video. I'm honestly kind of, it's kind of weird. I don't know why, but I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm just very happy. I'm excited because Like, guys, look at this. Guys, can I just. Guys, this particular price that I. Guys, this particular price that I sold this market on, guys. But, yeah, I do appreciate. I appreciate those who interact within my social medias. I appreciate those who obviously leave a like and take the time to comment, take the time to obviously get to know me. I appreciate everyone who's very much within the Roguefx membership program and very much on the way to financial freedom. Guys, understand that it is a journey, it is a process. No one necessarily knows when they're ready for, I don't want to say ready, no one necessarily knows when their time will come as far as, profitability, everyone's working under different win rate ratios, and this is kind of just going back to, again, journaling your trades. If not necessarily journaling your trades, you have an MT4 account. Go back to those dates, go back to those time zones, and really kind of understand your actual mistake, and then correct it, and over time, as you become more accustomed to what you are actually doing, you become more aware. At that point, guys, you're well on your way. And that's all I'm going to say. Before I do end this off, guys, I want you to understand that you can very much be doing the work. Like, you can very much be doing the work. You can very much be studying. You can very much be doing this, that, and the third, doing your due diligence, but just focus on the wrong. Essentially, it's like needing an oil change and getting your brakes replaced. That's kind of what I'm referring to when I say these things. There are particular lessons that require being learned. Now, you're not going to pick up on these lessons immediately. It has to happen a couple of times for you to be like, dang, what's wrong? I'm at a obstacle. I'm at a standstill. I'm a bit stagnant within my trading journey. And that is where a guide comes in and kind of tweaks your learning curve. In whichever case, I mean, massively, right? I do appreciate everyone you again for tuning in. I hope you guys very much enjoy this video series. Until next time on Jody FX, happy trading.